it just cut through like a hot knife through butter. And it's so frustrating because I thought we've managed to get the ear hook really deep into the ear, above and over the skin plug and behind it. And all I have to do now is slowly bring the hook forwards. And as I do, this plug will come out. And it, unfortunately, it didn't. It just cut through, it dissected through it. So you just got to be patient. And the best thing to use with the keratosis obturans is sodium bicarbonate drops as opposed to olive oil. I almost exclusively advise my patients to use medical grade olive oil. The only exception is when I've got a patient with keratosis obturans. And the reason why sodium bicarbonate drops works really well with keratosis obturans and olive oil doesn't, because sodium bicarbonate drops contains water. And I'm not a big fan of water, but because it's in a sodium bicarbonate solution, it's somewhat antiseptic, so it's safer than your normal water. And when sodium bicarbonate drops enter the ear, they react with certain acids contained within the skin plug. I forgot the exact name of acid, but it's kind of a carboxylic group of acid, and it's an acid that's secreted by the sebaceous glands. So it's an acid that we have in our ear. It forms part of earwax, and as the sodium bicarbonate reacts with that acid, it liberates into water and carbon dioxide, and during that transitional phase into carbon dioxide, you get foaming, you get bubbling action, you get effervescence of carbon dioxide bubbles, and that bubbling, mechanical foaming, effervescence helps to break up the skin plugs, the skin cells that are tightly adhered. So if you remember before I mentioned with the keratosis obturans, the skin is still connected to neighbouring skin cells, whereas typically as the skin dies and sheds in the ear, they individually shed. These individual skin cells, they shed like fish scales. But with the keratosis obturans, think about a snake skin. That skin is still together, it's tightly adhered, the skin is still attached to one another. And that's the same with the keratosis obturans. So the carbon dioxide formation, the bubbling, the mechanical foaming, the effervescence helps to break up the skin cells and that tightly adhered matrix. In addition, skin is hydrophilic. It loves to absorb water. So it absorbs the water and it overhydrates, and that causes the skin cells to swell and then the membranes to break up and burst. So it doesn't dissolve it, but it breaks it up better. With olive oil, it doesn't do that. It won't have the same effect. So olive oil really is not effective in this kind of case. So I'm 15 minutes in, and it may look like I've not done a lot, but believe me, we've done a lot. We've really attached around the canal walls. And there's no other way of removing this. I've used forceps. A Jobson horn, you just physically couldn't get in and behind because you'd be up against the eardrum. The ear hook, I've managed to glide it in, but it just dissected through. And you can see that bony protrusion at the bottom. That's a bit of a hindrance there. That limits our movement. And it also, the keratosis obturans plug is somewhat trapped behind that. So I've just put another dose of sodium bicarbonate drops in there. And if you look at the playlist I have on keratosis obturans, you can see they have one familiar theme. It's the time taken to remove. A normal earwax removal for me, I would say nowadays it's about 5 minutes.